Hello. Today I will be giving an analysis for the poem The Shepherd by William Blake. Blake was a radical critic of the organized Christian religion at the time. He saw the attachment to a particular religion as more of a hindrance to one's spirituality than a benefit to it. Blake said that I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. I will not reason and compare, my business is to create. This was cited in the Cambridge History of English Romantic Literature by James Chandler. Blake was indeed a creator and used imagination along with his ideas to create the poems that we have today. We have to, in order to understand the poetry written by these authors, step into their time and into their shoes. One important thing that a professor said in a lecture at college was that you can't look at these pieces through the lens of today. You can, but there are a lot of concepts and ideas of our time that wouldn't have been thought of during the time of these poets. Christianity and God was a very important part of Blake's life, and so in order to understand Blake's poetry and ideas, we have to look at Blake's perspective of things during his time. In Songs of Innocence, many of the ideas come from the Industrial Revolution, how children were treated during this time, and you also see many ideas stem from Blake's views of spirituality. This leads us to the poem The Shepherd, which is a short poem with only 2 stanzas. I'll read it to you and then we can go through it line by line. The Shepherd. How sweet is the shepherd's sweet lot. From the morn to the evening he strays. He shall follow his sheep all the day, and his tongue shall be filled with praise. For he hears the lamb's innocent call, and he hears the ew's tender reply. He is watchful while they are in peace, for they know when their shepherd is nigh. The poem begins with the phrase, how sweet is the shepherd's sweet lot. Notice in this line that the word sweet is repeated twice within the same sentence. In this poem, shepherd refers to God or Christ, and the sweet lot represents us or his people. The next sentence says, from the morn to the evening he strays. I love this piece because normally in Christian texts, when someone is straying, they are deviating from the path that they should be on. They are deviating from the path of righteousness. But in this poem, it is not the case. The shepherd loves his sheep and is following them as they stray. He is not upset or angry with them as he follows them all day. The next 2 sentences in the stanza are written in the future tense. He says that he shall follow his sheep all the day, and his tongue shall be filled with praise. It shows that this isn't just something that he's doing today, but it is something that will go on in the far future, possibly even into the next life. The last sentence of this first stanza confirms that straying is not something bad or upsetting to the shepherd. As it is written in the future tense, he will continue praising his sheep. Moving on to the next stanza, it says, for he hears the lamb's innocent call, and he hears the ew's tender reply. Hearing the lamb's innocent call could be interpreted as a child questioning or even a child praying. The next stanza says that he hears the ew's tender reply. This is saying that he is hearing the mother's reply to her child. He is listening to their conversations. This section has a literary device that is called a lexical field. A lexical field is a group of words that are related to a similar topic. An example of a lexical field would be if there were words like purple, green, blue, yellow, that are all related to one another because they are all colors. The words that are part of the lexical field in this poem are tender, innocent, watchful, and peace. The poet uses these words to try to describe the ideal. The last two sentences say, "He is watchful while they are in peace, for they know when their shepherd is nigh." The shepherd in this section is unintrusive to his flock. He isn't actively trying to get them to do anything, and he is just letting them be where they are at peace. This is a very different way during this time for someone to look at God or Christ. It brings a sense of safety to someone, that God is someone that watches those that he loves. In conclusion, I think that a lot of Blake's ideas stem from his radicalism and his own love and belief for God. He takes an imaginative way to seeing and understanding concepts and ideas that were important during his time. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that I was able to help you in your studies. Stay tuned for some future videos.